Hello again, feral friends and fellow nature nerds. Thanks for tuning in to Dirt Dispatch number 18. I'm your host, Tim the Nature Nerd O'Hara. So, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're approaching the winter solstice, December 21st. That will be the day with the shortest amount of daylight here in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's the day with the longest amount of daylight. So, that is your summer solstice. Happy summer to you down there in the Southern Hemisphere, and happy winter to us here in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, I know a lot of people don't like winter. I personally am a fan. I love there's a saying that says, if you don't take joy in the snow, you'll have less joy in your life, but the same amount of snow. So I try to live by that. All through the winter, I'll still be getting outside, maybe not getting dirty because the ground is frozen and it might be covered in snow, but I'll be getting snowy and I'll be enjoying the cold. And there's also a Scandinavian concept called Koslig, and I've mentioned this before, but I really like this idea. Koslig is, there's not a direct translation, but it's kind of that feeling you get after you've been outside in the snow and the cold, and you come inside and you wrap in a blanket and you get a cup of hot cocoa and you cozy up by the fire. And so it's kind of this feeling of warmth and coziness and community, but also related to being outside and being outside and enjoying the cold. So I bike all year long. I have a fat bike, so I get out in the snow, and even when it's cold, I bundle up and I go out and ride. So my winter solstice tradition for the past few years is that I will get out my lights and I'll bundle up, and on the winter solstice I go out and go for a bike ride sometime in the darkness. When my kids were littler, it used to be after they went to bed. So I'd wait till everybody was asleep and I'd go out kind of late at night. Nowadays, now that my kids are older and I don't have to really be there to get them into bed, I can go out a little earlier, which is kind of nice for me because I'm getting older too. So I like to be in bed. Uh, but I hope whatever you celebrate this time of year, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or just the winter solstice, Yule for my Scandinavian friends, and that's kind of my heritage a little bit is Scandinavian. So whatever you celebrate this time of year, I wish you the happiest of holidays. Um, so yeah, so enjoy the winter solstice or the summer solstice for my friends in the Southern Hemisphere. So, nature news, the only other thing I want to talk about today in nature news, there is a Laysan Albatross. An albatross is a very large seabird, and her name is Wisdom, and she is the oldest known wild bird. She was banded in 1956 and seen raising a chick that same year, which means she had to have been at least 5 years old. So she might even be older than 74 at this point. Now, albatrosses are very long lived anyways, but 74 is an especially healthy lifespan for an albatross. So, like I said, she was banded in 1956, seen raising a chick that same year, so at least 5 years old, so at least hatched in 1951. She lives on Sand Island at the Midway Atoll Wildlife Refuge in the Pacific. Now, she has, throughout her lifetime, raised or laid at least 60 eggs that they know of, and raised at least 36 chicks that they know of. She's estimated to have flown at least 3 million miles. That's amazing. And her and her chick survived a tsunami in 2011 that hit the Midway Atoll. So, congratulations to Wisdom. Um, that's just amazing. That's incredible. So, all right, that's really all I have to share on this episode of Dirt Dispatches. I hope you have the happiest of holidays. If you want to support the podcast, you can do that, first of all, by becoming a patron. Head over to my Patreon page. That's patreon.com/dispatches from the forest. All one word, all run together. And you can learn all the details there. You can also make a one-time donation through PayPal using my email address, which is dispatchesfromtheforest@gmail.com. I almost forgot for a second there. You can also use that to send me an email if you want. Send me an email. Let me know what you want to learn about. What if you have a question or a comment or a suggestion for a future episode? I'm all ears. You can also make a one-time donation using the Cash app, using the hashtag ForestNerd. The merch store is at cafepress.com/shop/dispatches from the forest. Click on products and you'll see everything it has to offer. And finally, you can follow Dispatches from the Forest on Facebook, Instagram, and, at least for the time being, TikTok. That's all I have. I'm your host, Tim the Nature Nerd O'Hara, reminding you to go outside and get dirty. Dirt Dispatches is a production of Dispatches from the Forest and may not be used or rebroadcast whole or in part without express written permission.